So excited that you're here, and he bops around, so he knows a lot about all the different teams. And then down on the far side, we have our good friend Chase Lane. Great to have you back in the studio. I saw that giant smile across your face when you saw Georgia Tech there. Former Georgia Tech wide receiver trying to play in the NFL now. How's training going?
It's been great, just being able to work out at Georgia Tech and be with my teammates and be around the coaches. It's been a great deal. So.
A bright future no matter what happens for you. I'm excited to talk all about that and ultimately believe that this situation plays out at quarterback for the Falcons.
I think that you try to find a team that works for Kirk Cousins. I don't think the team will be Atlanta. I think that when they draft Michael Penix Jr., that he was supposed to be the future, and I do think the future is now. Kirk Cousins is very capable of being a starting quarterback in this league. He's a guy who puts up a amount of yards and has a amount of records in the regular season. I just don't think that Atlanta is the place to do that. But I think going forward, Michael Penix Jr. is the guy. And if you keep Kirk Cousins for another season or two, I do think he serves as a good mentor. He has a history of being a great teammate, and I think he can really help in Michael Penix's development.
Michael Penix Jr. is the future. To Chase's point, the future is now. Chase, what do you think the Falcons are getting out of Michael Penix Jr.? Because we saw bits and pieces of him towards the end of the season that made you think, all right, the Falcons may have a really good quarterback here.
I think the Falcons are getting a true competitor, a guy who had put up crazy stats in college. And if you look at the film, it seems like the city of Atlanta and his teammates really rally around him. I think he brings a new type of swagger that Atlanta is really in dire need of. Kirk Cousins, he puts on the chains and he does all the dancing in the locker room after these wins, and you see him doing the swag surf in the stadium, but he doesn't really give that vibe that you really get that you would need from an Atlanta Falcons quarterback. From Michael Penix Jr., I get a Michael Vick kind of vibe to him.
Yeah.
He's a lefty just like Michael Vick, and not trying to make any comparisons like that whatsoever, but
sure.
I think it's a new vibe that this team is in dire need of.
New energy. All right, Chase's Combine Corner, everybody. Chase, thanks for joining me. You have a lot of insight when it comes to some of these prospects that were up there in Indianapolis. Two of your teammates. We're going to start with defensive lineman Zeke Biggers. What makes him a possible threat at the NFL level?
Well, I think the first thing that jumps off the tape with him is his size. He's 6'4.5", weighs in about 320, and just the numbers he was able to put up: 9'3" broad, 34.5-inch vertical, ran a 5.09 40. There you see it on the screen. I think he's a guy who can really make a franchise really happy. And the thing with Zeke is you really have to get him out of his shell. I think Coach Key was really able to do that, and when he did, and when he got out of that shell, you were able to see him be able to make plays. And that's a nasty guy, man. He's got a high motor, and I can really say he loves his teammates, and I'm really anxious to see where he'll end up.
Dude was moving, and that vertical was crazy. Let's move on to tight end Jackson Hawes, who you know him very well. He played on the offensive side of the football, obviously. He impressed a lot of people at the Combine. Why can he be impressive in the NFL?
I think that when you look at his tape, the main thing that jumps off the film is his blocking ability. And he even said while he was doing his interviews is that he wants to punish people, and he wants to put his face mask right underneath people's chins. And that's a guy who can move. I remember in practice and in games, he's clocked 21 miles per hour a couple times. And that's a guy who has a lot of tremendous upside, I think, and will make a really franchise happy with his ability to play special teams, his ability to be active in the run game and the pass game, and just a really good teammate as well.
It's that tough Georgia Tech mentality, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about you for a second. We'll go back to this defensive class and what it looks like and who's potentially being overlooked, but you are preparing for Pro Day at Georgia Tech. What does it look like? What does your training look like right now?
It's cool. A lot of guys when they're getting ready for their Pro Day and just preparing for the Combine, they go to these different training facilities, whether it's like I could have gone back to Texas and I could have gone to Exos and things of that nature, but I really wanted to stay home. Georgia Tech has really became a home for me, and just to be able to train with my 10 other guys and 10 other guys I played with and had a great time playing with, and just being able to see my guys who are still playing at Georgia Tech, and just being able to see my coaches every day has really been fun, and I'm really looking to put up some good numbers at Pro Day.
Look, I'm not supposed to be a fan, but we're such a big fan of you on this show, so we're really hoping that it works out for you at the next level. Really quick, I got 45 seconds here. Tell me which class is being overlooked at the Combine right now.
I think the running backs. I think this is always when you look at the Combine and the draft and how it always goes out and how it plays out, guys who really get the majority of the attention are your edge rushers, your quarterbacks, your wide receivers. But I think this class, I think they tested really well. I think they ran really fast. You saw some really fast 40s, and some guys that really popped off the charts for me were, Amari Hampton, Cam Scatterboo with the 39.5-inch vertical. Yeah. The guys from Ohio State, Trayvon Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins. But I think it's just the nature of the beast, and when you look at it now in the NFL and just the life expectancy of the running back position in the league and how short it is. But when you see stories like Saquon Barkley and, you know, when what he was able to do and getting that contract with Philadelphia. But I think whoever starts to take chances on these running backs is really going to get some steals.
Perhaps no Bijan Robinson in this class, but
yeah.
He's pretty fantastic. So are you. Chase, thank you so much. We'll wrap things up right after the break.
Yes, I can. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. A shining bright to see what you can truly be. You're a shining star, you're a shining star, no matter who you are. A shining bright to see what you can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.